What up everyone, Unique Gaming here, doing my first build video. I'll be doing a breakdown of the build I ran in my last video, which I soloed Capital Building on Heroic, which took just over 23 minutes. So let's jump into the build. So we're running One Piece Murakami Industries for 20% skill duration, 2-piece Hana Yu for 10% skill haste, and 10% skill damage, 1-piece Wyvern for 10% skill damage, 1-piece Petrov for 10% LMG damage, which is actually just for the 8% damage to armor, which also applies to both your assault drone and assault turret. And last but not least, we have 1-piece Overlord armaments for 10% rifle damage, but also we get the 8% damage to targets out of cover. And unfortunately, the 8% damage to targets out of cover only applies to our weapons. Moving on to the actual pieces, starting off with the mask. It's rolled with skill tier with plus 12% skill haste, 10% skill damage, and 11.4% skill haste mod. The chest piece is rolled with skill tier, 12% skill haste, and 6.1% skill damage with a 11.1% skill haste mod. The talent we're using on the chest piece is Spotter for the 15% multiplicative damage to pulsed enemies, and we get that multiplicative damage for both our weapons and skills, which is the main reason why we are running the technician specialization. Not only does it give you the extra skill tier, but it also gives us the attachment which we're using on our weapons. The attachment pulses enemies whenever we are aiming at them. Moving on to the holster, it's rolled with skill tier, 10.3% skill haste, and 7.8% skill damage. The backpack is rolled for skill tier, 10% skill damage, 10.1% skill haste, and a 5.3% crit chance mod. It's the named backpack Perfect Combined Arms, which the talent gives us 30% skill damage for 3 seconds whenever we shoot an enemy. So overall the build is great. I'm really enjoying it. It doesn't have as high as a ceiling as the typical all red DPS builds out there, meaning if you have skill, aim, knowledge of the mission and you're running an all red DPS build, you can definitely achieve some pretty crazy times on missions. If that's what you're looking for, then just run the typical all red DPS build. But I think for your average player playing Division 2 like myself, then you can run within about 2 to 4 minutes with this build, as you can with an all red DPS build. With TU10 coming out soon, I think this build will translate nicely. The only change needed is I would swap out the weapon talent from Spike to ENIQUE, which, if you're not familiar with that talent, it's one of the new talents that can roll on weapons, and it's hitting an enemy grants 15% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a skill or damaging an enemy with a skill grants 15% weapon damage for 5 seconds. Damage increases are doubled while both buffs are active at the same time. So we would gain an extra 10% skill damage and 30% weapon damage compared to using Spike and only getting 20% skill damage. Granted, Spike can be more consistent to keep up, but overall I think it should be pretty easy to keep ENIQUE active most of the time to make it an easy choice for the build over Spike. Another change we also might make is swapping out the classic M1A for another rifle, or possibly even a different weapon type altogether. But we'll have to wait and see how TU10 looks once it drops. Now if you're looking to build the AFK build, like I've seen a lot lately since TU 9.1 dropped, which the whole point of it basically is you're not doing a lot of shooting, you're just, trying to keep Spike up and then let your skills do their thing basically. So if you wanted to build that, I'd make a few modifications to this build. I'd probably drop the Fox's Prayer knee pads for 1-piece out summit, and it wouldn't be for the 1-piece bonus of repair skills, but for the named backpack percussive maintenance, which gives us perfect tech support. I would also swap out Spotter for glass cannon and re-roll that 1 weapon damage roll to armor. And if you didn't have the contractor gloves, you could just run a second Alp Summit piece for the 2-piece bonus, which gives 20% skill duration. This is, of course, several ways you could build it, but that's probably how I'd run it, or at least how I'd start off trying it, and then adjust from there. Anyway, that'll do it for me for this build video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Appreciate the support. Let me know what y'all think of the format and just your overall thoughts of the build video. If you have any suggestions, drop a comment down below, and I'll see y'all in the next one.